Hi, welcome to my video. Today I'm going to be sketching some mushrooms, and I find that mushrooms are so helpful for me when I'm having a hard time remembering how to draw in general, because that's what occurred. And it did help me. After I was done this video, I remembered. I don't know what's wrong with me that sometimes my brain just like turns off and I need to turn it back on, and that happens to me a lot in January and February. So anyways, it's better now, so it doesn't matter. And I just wanted to work on a few things while I was sketching these mushrooms. First, I wanted to do the different colors and make a really nice sketch page, like a really good looking sketch page. As you know, if you've been following me, I'm looking to make my sketch pages look more aesthetically pleasing and kind of do the layout and composition of them a little bit better, because I had never really worked on that before. So want to try that. And I also want to work on trying to get as much contrast out of these different color pencils as I can. I know you can obviously get a lot of contrast out of black and white, but I wanted to see what I could do with different color pencils that are, some are lighter shades and some are a bit darker. Obviously it's going to be easier with the darker ones, but I wanted to see what I could do, and resisted temptation to use multiple colors on each one, because that's a problem I have, is I just kind of do too much. So I just need to limit myself and focus on the contrast and the values and work on that, because that's what's important. So that's a good, I find it helps to practice with using different colors, so you can stop yourself from seeing the colors almost and just work on the values. And that's when you can start to use lots of different colors. But I need to go back to basics right now so that I can kind of rethink about it in a different way. I'm just hoping to find some new discovery. I don't know. But yeah, just doing practice can really help you to think of new ideas sometimes. And that's what I wanted to do. And I really like the texture on that pink one. I think it was one of my most favorite ones on the whole page. So this one I used a golden kind of color, and I had a little bit more of a hard time making this one pop. I love the color, but I just found it was hard to get a good range, where in the pink one and the green one, it was easy. And this one I thought, oh, maybe I should start even lighter, but then it wasn't coming off the white paper. Maybe I should have done tan paper. I don't know. It doesn't matter too much because I think it turned out pretty good, but I did have take a longer amount of time and kind of fiddled with it more than I would have liked. And I sort of erased and went back over it. And yeah, so I guess it's just because it was yellow, but I'm not quite sure. It could just be that maybe I needed to start lighter and try to go darker, because how bright this color is, I could only go so dark, and I think that was the problem. With this one, it was teal. This is a Prismacolor pencil, and I believe they're wax-based, so I found it easier to get the range and easier to use for this challenge of just getting the values. And the one that I used, the golden color, that was a oil-based Faber-Castell pencil, I believe. So maybe that's why it's a little smoother and it was a little harder for me to work with, because I was used to using the other ones for the first two. So it doesn't really matter. I was just kind of thinking about like what happened there and why did I not like that one as much. This one also is from my brain, this mushroom. Sometimes I was just trying to fill the spaces on the page so that it would look good. And as well, I picked the colors to look good on the page. So that was kind of the challenge. I was working with a lot of stuff here on this day, and it was really fun. I encourage everybody to just draw some mushrooms if you want it, because it is an easy and relaxing thing to draw. But it also had, different ones have different textures. So if you want to do a smoother one, if you want to do something more easy, but there are complicated mushrooms, as you'll see, that you're going to get a real challenge out of. And if you're kind of worried about drawing heads and you want to practice, but you don't know what to practice with, I think that mushrooms are a really good option, because they're not as intimidating as doing somebody's head or an animal. There's nothing, like, even if you do a ridge here or like a curve where it doesn't really look the same, it's still going to look good in your drawing and give you the confidence to move on and do more stuff. And sometimes you just need the confidence. Like, it doesn't really matter what you draw, you just need to draw something you like. And so just get it out there and just like start doing it is, I think, the best way. And again, I'm always doing that because I don't know what is wrong with my brain that it turns off. I need to constantly be trying to find ways to turn it back on and make it work and get myself the confidence back. I think it's partially a confidence thing, but I think it's also a practice thing. I should be, and this is my new goal, is that I want to be practicing every day. I want to do at least 5 small drawings, just practice. Doesn't have to be anything crazy. Like maybe I'll find 5 heads on Pinterest and I do those, or maybe I'll do 3 figure studies, 5 heads, whatever. I could just do some mushrooms. I could just do some animals, something, if I'm having a harder day doing it, I could just do something that I find relaxing. But I just want to put the pencil on the paper every single day and definitely keep that going, because the more you go doing that, the easier it is. And you don't fall into art block if you keep up with it and keep going. And sometimes life gets in the way, and that's what I find difficult. So I'm just trying to, no matter what, find time to do that. And I always enjoy it and I always have fun. Even though it seems daunting sometimes when I'm tired, I still really have to do it and I have to keep up with it. So it's no big deal if you don't do that. It's not a problem if you decide to skip a day or skip a week, but just don't be afraid to get back into it too, because that's what happens sometimes. If you wait like 2 weeks where you haven't drawn, it becomes like a bigger and bigger task the longer you wait, I find. This mushroom, by the way, was one of my also favorite ones because I like how there's a bunch of like ripples in the cap of it. A lot of them, I also, just to jump back into what I was doing, I made sure that I toned the entire mushroom. So once I mapped out the shape with my lines, I toned the entire thing with a light shade of the pencil just so that it's a different color than the paper. And then I went in and started doing whatever shading was needed. And this is just a warning for people who don't like looking at holes. This is called a morel mushroom, I think. So this is one of those mushrooms with a bunch of holes in it. And I love how this mushroom turned out, but I know that it can freak you out. I'll put a time stamp to where it is. I don't know if that's like a huge problem, but I just heard that a lot of people don't like it, but I like looking at mushrooms like that. So I don't know if that's really weird, but this one took so long and I love how it turned out. I really like the color I used. It was really difficult and I was worried about doing it because I thought, oh my God, we're already like 5 in. And what if I mess this up and like ruin the whole page? Because color pencil, you can erase a little bit, sure, but you can't erase a whole thing. So if I mess this up, we're done and I'll freak out. And no, it actually worked really good because I just went slow. I took it easy. I know it doesn't look exactly like the reference, but I still think it's close enough because I kind of just put the holes wherever I thought that like I wasn't going to do it exactly because I never follow references like that anyways. I use them just as sort of just to look at or whatever you call it, I guess, just as a reference. I'm not trying to make it true to the picture is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I think that one looks really cool, but sorry again if you don't like holes. And this one I think looked super cool too. I can't remember what this type of mushroom is called. And yeah, I could look it up, but I'm not going to because I don't want to. It's usually yellow though. And I used a color that I'm pretty sure it's called lime green, Prismacolor. And I think it looks really cool and shiny on top. I like how there's sort of a part of it that's faded into the back. So I really like how this one turned out, but I wish that I used a darker color. I think the green looks good on the page and goes well and flows with the sketch page, but I think it's hard to see on the camera until I start darkening it by a lot. It's really hard to make out, so I sort of regret that. And it was hard to photograph after as well when I was trying to take some pictures for posting online. So yeah, that was a little unfortunate. I did in fact just look it up because I started to feel guilty, and I'm pretty sure it's called a chanterelle mushroom from what I can see online. So hopefully that is correct. I one time did a illustration of 2 of these mushrooms being angry with each other. They were standing beside each other and they were having a disagreement. And I liked that. I thought that was pretty funny. And sometimes you got to be your own biggest fan. You know what I'm saying? As I'm finishing this one, I'm realizing that I really only did these two from reference, and the rest of them, I guess, were from my brain. I think I kind of used a reference for the golden one, but it was very, very loose. Like I basically just looked at some pictures of mushrooms, so I couldn't even really say I used a reference there. So I hope that you can still draw along with me. Like I said, you can just look at the shapes that I'm doing and maybe start to make your own shapes with it and get the imagination going or something. I hope that it's still useful to you. You can still like just pause the video and maybe try to do the shapes. And really, I'm just making it up as I go. Like I just put the shading in where I think is right and where I see that it's, bending and to make it look 3D, I guess. So I hope that you can still draw along with me. Sorry about that. I thought I had used more, but oh well. It's really just about shading and getting the values of everything anyways. Just sometimes you just got to put the pencil on the paper, and that just helps you to start, and then you can go and do more stuff. So yeah, this one of these colors was my favorite. This also was a Faber-Castell pencil, and that's like I said before, it's a little smoother, and that is good. And I do like the Faber-Castell pencils, but the smoothness makes the tip run down quicker, and it seems to like I just have a harder time a little bit getting sharper lines and making it look exactly like I like. Like I feel like it's a little bit not as sharp, not it's a little more blurred on the edges, and it's probably like you can't even tell, but for me, I can tell. And but yeah, so that was the purple one, and this one I like the whatever those like spots are that are on mushrooms. I like how I placed those. This was fully from I just wanted to make it look cool. I wish I did a darker color. Like I didn't see a mushroom that looked like this. I don't know if this would exist. I don't know if the spots would ever be like that on a mushroom, or there would even be one that would be this shape, but I just wanted to make a cute one that would fill that space on the page, and the color was just way too light. Again, it was a Faber-Castell one, and it just wasn't really giving me what I was trying to get, if you know what I'm saying. But what can you do? It filled the spot. And I think the spots looked cute. Like, I don't know what those little things are, when it has those little white lumps on it. That's what I was trying to do. So I may come back to that and do this in a smaller illustration for something else and put a little face on it or something because I liked the shape of it. So here's all the mushrooms. See there? You can see the green one. It looks a little better like that with them all together. And thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!